What is up, everyone? Welcome back. This is Into the Wicked. Today, I'm bringing you a brand new No Rest for the Wicked together build called Bloodlust. This is a bleed-based bow build that revolves around spending health for rune attacks, applying bleed as fast as possible, and then healing it all back through lifesteal and stagger interactions. If you like aggressive, high-risk, high-reward gameplay, where you're constantly on the move and snowballing fights, this build is going to feel incredible. But before we get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Wicked Builds for lending me a hand with this setup and giving constant guidance when putting this together. Brother, I appreciate all the help and support, man, and giving you a quick shout out is the least I can do. For you guys who are subscribed to me, give a fellow subscribe to my boy Wicked Builds. He is the mastermind when it comes to No Rest for the Wicked. But without further ado, let's dive in. So the core concept of the Bloodlust build is built around three ideas: bleed application at high speed, using health instead of focus for rune attacks, and lastly sustaining through lifesteal, stagger, and on-hit healing. You're not trying to play safe, you're playing aggressive and efficient. So with that being said, let's get into the weapon, Twinkling Short Bow. This bow is going to come with bleed infusion, which is mandatory for the build. Every arrow you land is applying pressure through bleed, and once enemies are bleeding, the entire setup starts to snowball. Lifesteal, stagger, and sustain all kick in the same time. The quick facet is what really makes this bow shine. You gain increased attack speed, which lets you apply bleed faster, stagger more often, and stay mobile. Yes, your raw damage per hit is slightly lower, but for a bleed focused setup, faster shots are far more valuable than single heavy hits. Now, the part that is especially important when facing bosses, you're pairing the bow with the Pulse of Health rune, which gives you a burst health and temporarily increases your max health. This helps smooth out dangerous moments when you're trading for health for pressure, especially in longer boss fights where sustain matters more than burst. Furthermore, the type of enchantments we're going to be running is 1. Damage increase, 2. Gain focus on kill, 3. Gain health on staggering enemy, and 4. Movement speed increase for rune attack. Speaking of rune attacks, our bread and butter is going to be multi-shot and retreating trim shot. They let you apply bleed quickly, build stagger safely, and create space all at the same time. Now, moving on to the armor pieces, we are going to be working with the Twine King's armor as well as the Master's cuffs. So getting the show on the road, we have first is our Twine King's crown. We're going to be working with crit damage, physical damage, and weight reduction for mobility. This piece helps push you burst higher once bleed is active and keeps the build fast and light. Next, we got our chest. It's a huge part of the stagger loop. The damage increase after staggering an enemy, fizz damage increase, focus cost reduction after stagger, and damage resistance scaling with durability. Also, we have, finishing off the twine armor, we got pants. This is sustain of mobility, critical damage increase, stamina recovery scaling with durability, weight reduction, and lastly, elemental resistance. And to round out that armor, we're working with our Master's cuffs. This is armor penetration, massive lifesteal against bleeding enemies, which this enchantment I particularly love. Next, stamina gained on staggering and weight reduction. Once bleed is applied, these gloves turn damage into healing, letting you stay in the fight longer than you should. And the one facet I recommend in this armor set is definitely stable. It's going to give you that poise damage increase, which is going to build off the stagger, and the focus gain we aren't going to need because we are just relying on health. Speaking of which, let's move on to our rings. To ring number 1, we are going to be using the Battle Cry ring. Shout out to Mr. Wicked Builds for lending me a hand here and being so kind and generous with giving me one of these rings. But furthermore, this is the entire playstyle, spend health instead of focus. This lets you fire runic attacks aggressively without worrying about focus, trusting your lifesteal and healing to bring you back up. Furthermore, the second ring we have here is Mr. Reliable. If you guys know me, this is one of my favorite rings, Willow Cap ring, which is going to give us our overall speed increase. For here, it's going to be 11%. And lastly, but not least, the agility ring, again, reduce attack stamina costs, increase movement speed, and reduce sprint stamina costs. And that rounds out the Bloodlust build in a nutshell. The playstyle you are going to want is trusting the lifesteal procs from bleed. You're meant to play aggressively, spending health on rune attacks, keeping pressure up with the short bow, and trusting that your bleed damage, stagger, and lifesteal will bring your health back up. Hesitation is what is going to get you killed, and that's what I learned making this build. Stay active, keep firing, use rune attacks aggressively, and don't let the enemies bleed. As long as the bleed is up and you're maintaining pressure, this build sustains itself incredibly well. That said, respect the positioning, you're not face taking, control the space, reset with movement, and stay one step ahead. Furthermore, since we are talking about bows, there has been discussion during the beta about the bows being a little bit too strong, and I totally understand and I see the views that from where you guys are coming from. Here's my take on it. What I love about No Rest for the Wicked is that any weapon in this game can feel insanely strong if you actually build around it properly. There's no hard limit on weapon viability. It's all about synergy, understanding mechanics, and committing to a playstyle. So that's why I think the game is in such a good place right now. Every weapon feels like it has its own identity, its own strengths, and its own way to shine. There's genuinely a playstyle here for every type of player. As someone who's always gravitated towards range builds, I know for a fact I'll be sticking with both setups when it comes to co-op events, and as bosses get harder and fights get more demanding, I really believe range pressure, especially bows, are going to become one of the most vital roles in group play. The game is doing such a great job of welcoming different skill levels, different preferences, and different approaches to combat, and that's exactly what you want from a modern soul-style game. Building off that, I believe the bow has the most versatility in the game right now. And when it comes to proccing different status effects, whether it's bleed, burn, frost, or elemental setups, the bow lets you control how and when those effects come online, not just for solo play, but for co-op as a whole. In group play especially, the bow really helps set the tempo of combat. You're applying pressure early, controlling spacing, opening stagger windows, and letting your team play off that momentum. You're not reacting to fights, you're shaping them. I'll also say this from personal experience. When I'm handed a melee weapon, it usually takes me some time to really find my rhythm and get good with it, which is nothing wrong with, but the moment I'm given dual wielded ranged weapons or a bow, my gameplay naturally jumps to another level. The positioning, spacing, and decision making just click for me, and honestly I believe that same kind of energy can happen for other players too. Because of that, I highly recommend the bow for newer players. For players who always loved range builds, and especially for those who are absolute demons when it comes to positioning and dealing damage, if you enjoy controlling fights and playing smart, rather than brute forcing encounters, the bow just clicks. That said, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and that's what makes these discussions fun. This isn't about saying one playstyle is right or wrong. We're all part of the same community, all learning and experimenting and helping each other out. And that is what makes the game better, and that is what it's all about. But again, guys, share your opinions. I am happy to discuss it with you. Again, this is our game, guys. This is for us to talk about. Share your ideas. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. I will happily support anything you guys say regarding this game. Again, this is all opinion. No matter what, this is a safe place. But furthermore, this is the Bloodlust build for No Rest for the Wicked together. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let me know what build you want to see next. Again, I'm loving this beta. I'm loving the post, guys. This is absolutely awesome. But this has been Into the Wicked. I will definitely see you in the next one. Peace.